is something that's been on my mind lately about an event in Chapter 1 that no one ever really seems to bring up in regards to potential events in future Deltarune chapters. Sure, we only have 2 chapters currently and they've been pretty well dissected, but why does it seem like everyone forgets about the Control Crown of all things? It's played for laughs in a battle late in Chapter 1 with the K-Round, where you have to throw Ralsei like a battering ram at it to dislodge its crown. Rule thought it was a pretty good idea to use said crown against the heroes, which would have been a decent tactic if not for the fluffy missile Ralsei being ultra throwable. Anyways, the reason I bring this up is because of this. And this. Can you guess where I'm going with this theory? The next 5 chapters of Deltarune are ripe for theory crafting, seeing as we know exactly 0.1% of anything beyond Chapter 2. And I definitely have ideas looking back at Chapter 1 and other thoughts, so let's get into exactly why I think the Control Crown will play a pivotal role down the line. First, let's start with Susie, everyone's favorite rampaging dino boy who definitely isn't going to revert back to all that happens in later chapters. Definitely not. Have you ever taken a closer look at her room in Ralsei's castle? That's right, there's a crown directly above her bed. With Susie being the only character that so far is capable of ignoring Chris's commands and even creating her own abilities, it's not hard to imagine that in some later chapter in some yet unforeseen event, the Control Crown is used against Susie, and it's merely foreshadowing with the fact that it's in her room, which I might remind you was solely created by Ralsei. An obvious detail, but Chris's room doesn't have this crown, which in my opinion is because Ralsei already knows that Chris is under the control of an unknown entity. And Chris doesn't seem to even need more competing elements in their soul right now. Now, if we had to make a guess on who uses the crown on Susie, I would honestly have to say the obvious answer, Ralsei. And my reasoning, you will see soon. Seems like your goat boy is the most put off by the fact that Susie has no real intention to just blindly obey Chris's orders as he does. And with Ralsei's seemingly single-minded goal of being a provider and assistant to Whiteners, I feel future chapters are leading up towards Ralsei finally reaching a breaking point, and, weird route or not, putting Susie under control by force through the crown. There is also the whole Susie Zilla offhand comment in Chapter 2 that might provide some insight into exactly how Susie could play into becoming an antagonist in some way in Chapter 3, which, at least by fan me guessing, will be a TV and movie themed world. I could easily see Susie in this dark world becoming a rampaging Godzilla-like figure either because she is truly angered at some future event occurring, or because the opportunity arises and Susie definitely doesn't seem the type to ignore the chance to destroy a city without realizing its potential consequences on account of, well, still being a kid, and kids don't tend to be the brightest sometimes. Or will it be another weird route plot point and not played for laughs at all? Anyways, couldn't you see in this situation the Control Crown coming into play to actually bring Susie back to her senses? In a reverse of using the crown for evil, it could actually be used for stopping a baddie, i.e. keeping Susie under control from an uncontrollable rampage. As I mentioned earlier, it seems that the mysterious door in Ralsei's castle might serve as a hint towards the crown coming back into play in the future. After all, it does seem pretty final chapter-esque with the multiple wings, clearly important plot area in the story, and its aptly put crown on top that weirdly enough seems to be missing. Yeah, that definitely looks like where you would put a crown in some kind of slot, not just a decal for funsies. Does having the crown in it serve as a key of sorts? Is that why it's sealed shut? This brings up the question of where exactly this missing crown is in the first place after the K-Round battle. It doesn't seem like it's an item that would just be left lying around, and I doubt Rules managed to steal it from Ralsei's castle himself, meaning he was likely given it by someone. After all, this item is pretty damn OP. It gives you control over pretty much anyone. Let's ignore the diss comment, it kinda seems like BS, so it doesn't seem like you would want it just laying around for anyone to use. But if it was stolen, who exactly could have taken it? Ralsei has been alone for God knows how long, so it rules out pretty much every character thus far until very, very recently. Maybe it was Lancer? Or perhaps it was lost in the previous roaring, which I think definitely happened at least once before and led to Ralsei's isolation. An idea for a future vid. At this point, anything is a possibility. Back to the K-Round battle though. Perhaps Ralsei picked it up after the battle, and, with his seeming ability to be able to predict the timeline, and his clear confusion when Chris deviated from it, Knew that it would be useful in a future event when it comes to putting angry Susie under control. I definitely think this goat boy is keeping huge secrets from us, so it's possible that he knows way more than he wants to let on about the missing crown and the sealed door in his castle. All in all, there isn't a whole lot that I can really say about this other than give speculative ideas, seeing as there are so many potential ways Deltarune can go, and so many bits and pieces that may or may not fit together. It's all the fun of indie chapter by chapter games, right? Anyways, if you like this theory, like and sub so I can keep making more in the future. Comment your ideas for vids, and until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.